Hello everyone. In this video, we will be talking about a long overdue subject that I have considered about doing in the past, but a couple events happened today that made me decide to bring it up and bring the idea into reality. Luckily, this isn't an entirely bad video. This is simply my feedback and critique and overall general thoughts on the MUGEN Cheapie community and stating each reason what they are doing wrong and what they are doing right that the main MUGEN community doesn't bother to do. And of course, all non-Cheapie and Cheapie enthusiasts along with authors are welcome to provide feedback on this very video. That being said, at the end of the day, I simply want better for this side, for I know we can be clearly better than the main MUGEN community as a whole. And before anyone asks, I can't really comment much on the balance community for they are mainly within the Eichmann community, and I am not that into Eichmann, but I have been starting to like it since. Cheapies can belong in there, and I'll be releasing a video on that soon. It won't be a discussion, but compilation of Cheapie/pseudo-Cheapie battles that can occur and exist on Eichmann. But enough of that. Let's begin and we going to being with the positives before we get with the negatives. Let's put the bandage on before ripping it off. And remember, I did do research into this in case my brain lets me down and I forget something of importance, so sources/links will be in the description just like I did with the Why Making Characters Private in 2025 video also will be in the description. Let's not yap any further. Reason 1. Pushing the limits of the engine. The MUGEN Cheapie community deserves credit for pushing the boundaries of what the MUGEN engine could handle. While many creators stuck to traditional fighting game design, Cheapie authors experimented with absurdly powerful mechanics and complex coding tricks. They showed the community that MUGEN could go far beyond simple one-on-one combat. These creators broke the rules intentionally crafting characters who could bend space, erase opponents, or even manipulate the engine itself. In doing so, they proved just how flexible and limitless MUGEN really is, inspiring others to see it as a creative sandbox rather than just a fighting framework. On top of that, these people are what make being an author worth it because what do you mean I can just grab any character and make them perhaps lore accurate or even more powerful than they were before? Even edit an already edited character to be much stronger than they originally intended to be. I think because of how many people are interested in MUGEN Cheapies, I can't wait one day for a new tier to be created since after all, I think a latest type of Cheapie that is popular would be defeat/defense tier challenge Cheapies. And since they have weaknesses, I would love to see if someone can make a whole new tier that is either similar or entirely different from that premise. Reason 2. Introducing creative and unique concepts. Despite being known for their unbalanced power levels, many Cheapie creators brought incredibly imaginative ideas to the table. They didn't just make strong characters, they made conceptual ones. Some used the debug system as a weapon, others had attacks that rewrote game logic, and a few even interacted with the player's computer in strange, meta ways. These creative risks made Cheapie characters stand out as works of digital experimentation. Even if the balance was non-existent, the originality and storytelling potential behind many of these characters helped keep the MUGEN scene alive and unpredictable. And because of this, I honestly believe Jus MUGEN isn't the only thing that's bringing people in, but Cheapies with unique and creative concepts as well. Since, if we are being completely honest, I don't mean to sound like a glazer, but if it wasn't for us MUGEN Cheapie authors, MUGEN wouldn't be so interesting. Sure, it's an engine and you can make huge crossovers, but us authors just made the engine more than just that, and I think that's quite fascinating. Reason 3. Building a distinct subculture within MUGEN. Over time, the Cheapie community became its own world within the larger MUGEN scene. They developed their own terminology, tier systems, rivalries, and even traditions. It wasn't just about power levels, it was about identity, and it still technically is. This subculture gave people a place to belong, especially those who weren't interested in traditional fighting game balance. And the best part about this is that when you do join in, there's a lot of positivity at times, especially when seeing authors praise each other's works. Within this niche, creators and fans bonded over shared chaos, comparing who could make the most unstoppable or bizarre character. That sense of belonging made MUGEN feel bigger, showing that there were endless ways to enjoy the engine. And no offensive to the main MUGEN community, but I've seen more rational people within the MUGEN Cheapie community than in the main MUGEN community. Sure, unfortunately weirdos still go in our space and try to ruin things, and there's even been unfortunate times where authors with amazing creations come out as problematic or even straight up weird, but at least there is a balance while in the main MUGEN community. Why there seems to be no sense of balance? Sensible people are rare, because you either talking to some weirdo, or someone who is way too young to be in a MUGEN forum, or someone who flat out has mental problems. Even people that will constantly remind you that maybe the world should start over. But let's go to the next reason. Reason 4, delivering pure spectacle and entertainment. Let's be honest, watching two cheapies battle can be some of the most entertaining content in the entire MUGEN world. When the screen fills with explosions, the stage shakes, and the characters destroy reality 20 times over, it's a visual experience unlike anything else. Cheapie fights became a form of digital performance art, less about skill and more about awe. These battles drew huge audiences on YouTube and streaming platforms, turning MUGEN matches into chaotic spectacles that entertained both diehard fans and casual viewers alike. And this one, all it takes is one Google search on Cheapies or search on YouTube, and the results will answer for you. On my channel, I've even had hours of Cheapie battles which over time has reached 1K views, so that alone should be proof enough even if you are a non-Cheapie enthusiast. You can't deny the impact of Cheapies. Reason 5, lowering the entry barrier for new creators. Cheapie projects also served as an entry point for many beginners who wanted to learn MUGEN coding. Because these characters didn't need to be balanced or technically perfect, new creators could experiment freely. It was a space where you could focus on creativity instead of precision. Many people learned the basics of triggers, states, and variables by messing around with cheapie edits or overpowered prototypes. This low-pressure environment helped grow the community and gave new coders the confidence to branch out into more advanced or polished projects eventually. Which is why I became one myself. I've loved cheapies for as long as I can remember and decided why not join in and become one of the people to make powerful characters as well and learn along the way, and become not only popular for collections, but become as popular as Rin and Luli, SDG, and Unbite along with Minis. Now that we are done discussing the good, here is now the more unfortunate side, and that is everything wrong with the community and how we can improve in each reasoning. Let's not delay any further and be ready to hear the hard truths. Reason 1, complicated assistance and poor guidance. One of the biggest issues with the MUGEN Cheapie community is how overly complicated it can be for newcomers to get proper help. A lot of the time, the information or tutorials available are either outdated, too advanced, or filled with missing context. When you ask for help, you might get vague answers or be told to figure it out yourself. This creates a huge barrier for anyone trying to learn how to code or make characters. Instead of helping the scene grow, it keeps new creators stuck at the same beginner level for months. And when someone like me and few others turns to AI tools for clearer answers, some veteran authors actually get defensive even though they weren't offering much help in the first place. It's a cycle that slows down progress and makes the community feel closed off instead of collaborative, which is very unfortunate. Especially since I want to learn all tiers of cheapies and even make characters people never thought to be cheapies make things more interesting, but I guess not unfortunately. Now you're wondering how can we fix that? Simple. If we want to continue existence of cheapies forever, we should make things much simpler and easier for newcomers, like provide templates, beginner-friendly coding, etc. I did make a channel in my server dedicated to coding for people who are new to making cheapies, but that didn't last long due to someone having issues with the coding in that channel. So that channel had to be deleted, and a new channel had to be made called Coding Support. Very unfortunate. We have to do better in this aspect, and another solution I can provide to make this more easier is to make tons of cheapie coding more public, except for cheapies that actively use dangerous exploits. PN top of that, creators should view AI as a learning assistant, not a threat, since I understand there's a lot of negative stigma around AI. But when it comes to newbies, we aren't using it for lame-ass reasons, but for as it is, and that is a tool for that's what it is and should be. It also helps new coders understand the engine faster and keeps the community alive. Enough on that, next reason. Reason 2, toxic gatekeeping and lack of knowledge sharing. One of the most frustrating aspects of the cheapie scene is how secretive and unhelpful some authors can be. Many experienced creators guard their code like a secret weapon, refusing to teach or even explain basic methods. When newcomers ask for help, they're often met with vague information where you basically have to figure it out yourself, just like the previous reason. This gatekeeping mentality creates tension and limits community growth, making it harder for aspiring creators to learn or contribute meaningfully. To make things worse, remember those videos talking about why private characters aren't worth keeping private in 2025, and my overall thoughts on them. Yeah, most private characters are actually cheapies. You heard that correctly. It's not even cheapies that will ruin your device, but cheapies that were once publicly available or gatekept for stupid reasons, not even reasons that are reasonable. So most balanced characters and normal characters are confirmed to be more public than cheapies. Sure, there's tons of public cheapies, but unfortunately to this day, there are still more private cheapies than there will ever be public cheapies. Imagine if every cheapie was public, except the harmful ones. That MUGEN Cheapie project roster collection I made a few months back would have been much bigger and probably much more enjoyable. Now you're probably wondering, how can we fix this one, Mikazuki? This one seems a bit impossible, and to be honest with you, not really. It just depends on the mindset of the people keeping these characters private. If they are close-minded, then that's their problem, and something as simple that I will explain the fix for will be, I guess, too much for them to process. But if there are open-minded individuals, this will be easy. So, let's begin with this solution. The solution is easy. The solution starts with changing the mindset. Knowledge sharing along with releasing private characters should be seen as a strength, not a weakness. Experienced authors can host open Q&A sessions, collaborative projects, or code breakdown videos that explain their techniques without giving away everything, along with happily showcasing their once private works, since after all some of y'all do be flexing it, so might as well flex it as it's publicly available, and people will see exactly what you are talking about. That kind of leadership would help create a more positive and supportive environment. If people are truly proud of their skills, they should be proud to pass them on, not hide them out of insecurity or whatever odd reason. Reason 3, flood of lazy edits and clones. For every well-designed cheapie, there are hundreds of lazy edits that reuse the same characters with. What these are called, don't even get mad because this is true. Countless of Donald edits, countless of KOF edits, countless of Tauhu project edits, etc. And overall, these spammed edits clog up repositories, bury creative projects, and make the community look repetitive. When everyone is just reusing the same idea, originality disappears. That's why I encourage and am happily to work on OCs and more underrated characters from underrated franchises, because they deserve as much love as the other well-known franchises, without the community. That being said, here's the solution. Encouraging quality over quantity should be the focus. Forums, channels, and communities can curate recommended creators, lists, or host events that spotlight original content. New creators should also be taught why originality matters, not just how to make a strong character, but how to make something unique that represents their imagination. It's also worth promoting friendly competitions or themed builds that push people to create fresh ideas instead of endless clones. Also to promote diversifying their edits as well. Yes, I'm aware that Donald is so easy to edit, along with Tauhu Project, Koff, and even kernel edits, but it would not hurt to expand to many horizons or even revive old cheapies from the dead to compete with modern-day cheapies. I know I have no room to talk since on my website there is some Tauhu and some KOF, but you can also see that I try to mix it up and aim for areas of reviving old-school cheapies, and even have a whole project called Project 8 Haven that is dedicated to nothing but amazing OCs. And the crazy part is OCs are so easy to edit. And there's even amazing OCs out there, so I never understood why not many cheapie authors reach that realm, but we'll see since I am the only one doing it so far. Lol. Next reason. Reason 4. Overshadowing serious and passionate creators. Because cheapie fights attract the biggest audiences, more balanced or story-driven MUGEN projects often get ignored. This imbalance makes it seem like the only way to get attention is to make overpowered, flashy characters. Serious developers who put time into gameplay, animation, or story elements often don't get the recognition they deserve, and that can drive them away. Now I know most cheapie creators don't give a fuck, but you never know, man. I just say this because I know someone who was into balanced, yet pseudo-cheapie stuff who no longer was in the community, due to the toxicity of the main MUGEN community. That being said, let's get into the solution. Solution. The solution here is to promote balance and creativity equally. Content creators and community leaders can highlight both sides of MUGEN, for example, showcasing creative cheapies of the month, alongside well-balanced fighters of the month. Viewers should also be reminded that MUGEN isn't only about raw power, it's about expression, gameplay, and imagination. When the community values both chaos and craftsmanship, everyone wins because it goes to show we can continue to expand cheapies for as long as we can. Reason 5. Drama shouldn't even be a thing in this part of the community. Considering how niche, and at the same time not so niche I guess MUGEN has been becoming, while we have our own circle, we shouldn't be having trouble at all whatsoever. This is another major problem that drags down the MUGEN cheapie community, is the constant drama at times, which is dumb. There's too much personal beef, name-calling, and ego battles over who's stronger, who stole code, or who deserves credit. This kind of negativity turns a creative hobby into a toxic battlefield. It shouldn't even be happening. MUGEN is about creativity and passion, not competition or clout. It should never be this serious. The drama makes it harder for people to collaborate, and it scares away new creators who just want to make characters and have fun. Instead of focusing on building new ideas, too many people waste energy on arguments, exposing each other, or holding grudges over things that don't even matter in the long run. Like the world is already such a crazy place for all of us, let's not ruin the very thing that we clearly use as an escape for our issues. That being said, here's the solution. Solution. The community needs to refocus on creativity and collaboration instead of competition. If people disagree, they should handle it privately or simply move on. Everyone should remember that MUGEN is an open, customizable engine. No one owns it, and no one has the right to gatekeep creativity, point blank, period. Promoting positive interactions, constructive feedback, and respect for each other's work can help reduce unnecessary conflicts. In short, focus on making cool content, not creating chaos. The scene will thrive once people remember why they started making characters in the first place, for fun, not drama. After all, last time I checked, MUGEN is 2D fighting game engine that enables you to create commercial quality fighting games. Almost everything can be customized, not fought over and causing issues over. That is all. If you watched this entire video, you are truly a goat. And I look forward to your feedback and responses. For my final thoughts are the MUGEN cheapie community has tons of creativity and way more potential than the main MUGEN community itself, and it comes from experience. But its biggest weakness is how closed off and inconsistent it can be. None of these problems are unfixable, they just require a shift in mindset. If creators start sharing knowledge, improving optimization, and celebrating originality, the cheapie scene can evolve into something even more impressive and welcoming. The tools and passion are already there, it's just about using them to lift everyone up instead of locking knowledge away. But then again, I would be lying if I said I had hope in really any community, since the world is upside down. I will support and encourage the changes in this community, but that's if the community itself even cares, and if it doesn't, why should I? I shall continue enjoying my personal circle till then, regardless either way. Thank you all for watching. See you in the next video. And be sure to join the Discord in case you do actually have any questions, concerns, or even need assistance, for we welcome you with open arms.